Welcome to Double Axe Handle Smash Podcast. I am your host, Johnny O, and with me is
Josh O.
And we have a very special guest. In our first iteration of the podcast 4 years ago, we had Mr. Sam Houston as a guest. He is the son of Grizzly Smith, the brother of Jake the Snake and Rockin' Robin. He is Sam Houston, and he is joining us now once again. And today is very special. We're going to be discussing legendary professional wrestler Black Bart, who Sam had a major feud with and ended up in some pretty bloody situations. Sam, how you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing great. On the intro with me, you needed to add one more thing. Father of the upcoming, God, she's wonderful. Father of the NWA superstar Samantha Starr.
Oh, wow.
So that needed to be put in there. Yeah, she's doing really well with the NWA and on the independent circuit, too. But I'm doing really well. I'm doing fantastic, really. You know, every day above ground is a good day. So, you know, say my prayers and do my thing and live right.
Sam, are you still active in the ring at all?
Well, I haven't been over the last 2 years because of the bout with stage 3 lung cancer.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
But I don't know. You know, that Kid Rock song that came out when the Super Bowl halftime, Till You Can't, that's really been hitting hard at me. So I want to see maybe if I can give it, you know, just a little bit more. Because that's the whole thing about me, man. You know, you get so far enough that you do something that everybody can be just, you know, plainly satisfied, or you can go just that one bit further, or that one step further. And that was probably actually one of the compliments, the best compliments I ever got in my career was from Precious Paul Ellering. I had come back from the ring in Philadelphia, and he was standing on the stage and he was watching my match. And Paul watched my matches a lot. And he goes, and he stops me on my way to the dressing room. He goes, Sam, he goes, do you know why I enjoy watching your matches? And I said, no. He said, because you go out there and you go one step further with everything, you know? And I want to do that in everything I do. If I'm raking the yard, if I'm mowing the grass, I want to go that one step further, make it bang, you know, make it have some pop to it. Little projects around the house. I don't want to leave something half done, you know. And that's the way I feel about my wrestling too. I don't want to leave something half done. So, my whole life and what I'm trying to do now is, because I've been through a whole lot of stuff, y'all. Whole lot of stuff, and I've always bounced back, or I've always rebuilt, or I've always had to start over, and I've done all this so I can, and I've been given a platform because of who I am, but because of that platform, I can show you what I've been through. And if you haven't, you know, I was almost eaten by cannibals twice. How many people can say that? Not a lot, but if that ever happens, I can tell you there is hope and you can make it.
I remember that story from the previous time you were on. We had previous time when you were on, we actually made 2 episodes out of it because it was just, you know, we had such a great long interview.
Well, good time, I mean, I enjoy talking to y'all, you know. And everything is, you know, everything is a lot different for me now, especially after the cancer.
So how's that going? How's the cancer going?
Yeah.
Well,
oh, dude, I've been cancer free for October. Will be 2 years.
Oh, wow. Well done.
Wow, good.
I had
chemo,
it's an
or
incredible story. Well, do you want to talk about Bart first or my cancer?
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to talk about Bart first because I think that's like really important that we get that out.
Oh, sure.
Here and
Okay.
everything.
Yeah.
And for me, Black Bart, he was world-class heavyweight champion. So I have a very fond memory of him.
Also, wait, Josh, who's talking? Because
Josh.
you're not in my screen.
Oh.
On my computer. No, I got to see your earpiece.
Oh, okay.
So if you lean over to your left,
My
then
left?
I can get a little more of your face.
Okay.
No, to your left.
To my left. Okay. Other left.
You can move the chair if you want.
All right.
No.
What about now?
No, I still can't. I can only see your shoulder
Well,
and your earpiece.
I'm not that attractive, so you're not missing much.
Okay.
John is the pretty one
Oh,
of
no.
this show.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Sam.
I'm just
Sam
the
is-
one with better hair.
Okay, I don't know. I can't see either one of y'all, so I don't know who I'm talking to.
Is there
I'm sorry.
something on your computer that you can't see?
I
Is there
don't
like?
know.
Oh, hold on. Let me. I can always edit this out. Hold on.
The magic of editing when John goes to do this.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Let's get into Black Bart. So Josh and I recently watched the match that it all started when you won the Mid-Atlantic Championship from Crusher Khrushchev, and everyone
Right.
knows Crusher Khrushchev as Smash from Demolition and the Repo Man, the Blacktop Bully.
Crusher Darso.
Yep.
You know.
So I remember you winning that title. The first question I have about that is, and you know, as the wrestling world has gotten exposed over the years, what does it feel like to win a championship, and how did you find out you were winning the title, and what was your reaction? Did you was that your 1st major title?
You're elated. You know, it's like, you know, this promotion has this much faith in me to go out there and represent. You know, you really are the cream of the crop, the top of the heap. You know, and so you're elated when that happens, and when that moment does happen, I mean, you just lose it because you're so overjoyed and stuff. But the more and more titles you win, the less of that feeling it is. You know, after you win your like third or fourth, fifth title, it's kind of like, okay, did it again. You know, here we go, show the people and stuff like that. And then it becomes more of just, you know, you're out there more or less just going through the motions. You're not living it inside, you know, because you've already had that. You understand?
Yeah. Josh,
Yeah.
did you have a question about the title?
Hmm?
Did you have a question about the title, carrying the title around?
Oh yeah. So, all right. How much do those belts weigh?
That one probably, we've got a full-size replica of that one at my wife's office. That probably weighs anywhere between 15, 17 pounds.
And what was it like having to bring that through airports?
Oh, I mean, you get flagged all the time, and all the security wants to pull it out of your wrestling, but, you know, because you don't go without it, you got to check it. I mean, you don't check it, but, you know, they all got to pull it out, and everybody wants to take pictures with it and stuff like that. I mean, if you ever want to embarrass somebody, put something embarrassing on top of that title. That way, that's the first thing they pull out of your bag. You know,
Have you ever pulled that trick?
I didn't, but Ronnie Garvin did.
Yep.
When he won the world title from Flair, I guess, there was this one woman security guard, and every time at the airport, and every time Ronnie went through there, she pulled all of his stuff out. So he put a male, like an appendage, or he put the belt in there.
Yeah.
But right when she unzipped the bag, she pulls this female appliance
Yep.
out.
Some hardware.
And holding it up, yeah. And everybody got pictures of that instead of her with the belt. Yes. So, yeah, but yeah, stuff like that does happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, especially if it's at the bottom of your bag, then you got to pull everything out. You know, your boots, your trunks, everything. Everything's laid all out. You know, so it's best to, when you're traveling, keep your belt on the top. You know.
All right.
Right.
Yeah, I can see that. Thank you.
Yeah. Did you want to keep going for the talking about Mid-Atlantic title?
Yeah, just your memories of being like Mid-Atlantic champion and everything. And actually, for me, it's a lot about what it was like being in the territories, because I am fascinated by the territorial system of the of that time period. And so, like, what territories did you work in? Which territory was your favorite?
Well, the Mid-South territory, I never wrestled for Mid-South. I wrestled for UWF. It was the same company after the name change.
That was Bill
But I
Watts
never,
on that, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
but I never wrestled for Mid South. But I did work for Mid South because by the time I was like 14, 15 years old, I was setting up the TV ring every other week in Shreveport. And then when I was 15 years old, had my license and everything, I used to drive the ring truck to the towns that didn't have a ring, the normal towns that didn't have a ring, like Lake Charles, Louisiana, or uh, uh, Thibodaux, or different towns that didn't have rings in the town. I would drive those down and be the ring crew guy. I'd set the ring up, and then I'd always pick up. I was doing really good when I was doing that because then I'd pick up being the timekeeper and get paid an extra $50 for that. If I got an announce, that was another 50. So for 15 years old, that was about $400 there. All my transportation and food was paid for. All I had to do was put in the work.
Hmm.
You know,
Nice.
I was making better money doing that than when I started wrestling in the prelims.
Yeah.
That was just a $50 guarantee. Florida was a great territory because your longest trip is like 4 hours. I mean, you got time to hit the beach every day. You could do whatever you want to in Florida. I mean, when they call it the Sunshine State, gosh, they were right.
There's probably a gym
Florida was a great
every
territory,
corner. There's
huh?
probably a gym every corner in
Oh yeah,
Florida.
but Florida was a great territory for us back then. Now it's so hard to get around any of the towns. I lived in Orlando in 2017, and it was rough there then. But yeah, Florida was cool. Then the Carolinas, and the Carolinas, that's where it started out as a territory. Virginia, West Virginia, they did Toronto and a few towns up, but there were like five bookers when I first started working for Mid Atlantic, and then when Dusty came in and changed everything, then he started running, and we were still concentrated on the Mid Atlantic, but that's when we started branching out and started going. Uh, I guess I don't know if you'd call it fighting back or invading back or what, but moves were being made from Vince and stuff like that. So somebody had to rise up,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I think that we were the strongest company to do that with.
When you won the championship from Crusher Khrushchev, was Dusty the booker, and is he the one who told you that you were winning the title that night?
Yeah, Dusty was a booker, and he just surprised me. He goes, "There, baby," and laid it out. And and when Crusher came off of the top rope with that clothesline, that's when he tore his knee.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
And so he was trying to get rid of me, out of and get me out of the ring, and that's when Animal caught me and pressed me back in and I hit Crusher with the I guess crossbody and hooked the leg 1, 2, 3, and I was the champion. And wow, I mean, just what a feeling! And my first match, my first title defense was a couple of nights later in Columbia, South Carolina, against Stony Burke. And I was getting ready to go for my bulldog, and when I hit the ropes, and I hit the ropes hard, the top rope broke, and I landed on my head.
Ooh.
Well, the referee started counting me out, and I had just won the belt, and I was like, "Oh no, no!" I didn't know that. I don't know. Maybe too many chair shots or head shots or landing on my head. I forgot that you don't lose the belt on the count out. But anyway, I got back in the ring and finished the match and hit the bulldog and won. But oh, I was hurting. Uh, but that whole run was good. But it was kind of like I just faced different opponents,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And really, a champion needs to go out there and showcase that talent as best they can, you know, to make them worthy of being in the ring with a champion, you know. And then, so I always used to like to try to have the most competitive matches I could with people. But then when Bart came along, wow! I mean, we just clicked, you know, and people were getting what they wanted every night. I mean, they were getting blood and guts, hard going, you know. Two guys that weren't afraid to work with each other, wrestle each other. and show you, it takes something special to be in this business.
Did you already know Black Bart before you started feuding with him? When did he come in right away, or?
Well, let me tell you how I met Bart. When I was in high school, 11th grade, I was the ring crew and everything. Anyway, I had to have my tonsils taken out. And when they took my tonsils out, I flatlined on the table for 2 minutes. They brought me back. Boy, I was mad. But I didn't eat food. They nicked my pharynx. I didn't eat food from April the 2nd till August 13th.
Wow.
I got the food down because they were doing a Superdome hospital from April the 2nd to August the 13th. The show at the Superdome was that night, and the doctors weren't going to let me leave until I could swallow food. They had sewn my neck back together so they'd closed the wounds. I got a spoonful of food down. They allowed me to leave. I go to the Superdome that night, and I was a shell. I mean, just a shell of my former self. Before I was already up to about 225 pounds, and I come out of the hospital. I weigh 128.
Oof.
So Watts was real bad about, he didn't like people in the dressing rooms and stuff like that. Well, I was Grizz's son, and I was always the one running and getting Cokes and sodas and hot dogs for the guys, taking care of their jackets. Hell, I was their mechanic and everything else. Well, anyway, I was backstage, and Watts was going around doing his thing. So I just try to keep out of the way. And Bart was there. And this is the first time I had met Bart because Watts had taken over from McGurk around that time because McGurk had Tri-State something, and Black Bart was working for them, and Watts went ahead and used some of their talent, and he was using Hangman Ricky Harris, and that's who Black Bart was. So he had gone out there and had a match with Mike Sharp. Now, my dad had already told me that this business was not for me and everything else. And anyway, I knew I wasn't going to get no help there. But I went and I was talking to Bart, and he just wrestled Iron Mike Sharp, and Mike Sharp beat him. And, I'm looking at, well, you got beat. I said, well, is it worth it? And he looked at me dead in the eyes and he said, "You damn well straight it's worth it." He said, "I'm wrestling in the biggest coliseum in the United States tonight." All I, and he was. He was wrestling in the biggest coliseum in the country, the
Mm-hmm.
Superdome. So I decided, well, yeah, I'm gonna go for it. And I started working out, and that's kind of what got me, going that way and getting me into the business. Then when George Weingroff, it took me almost a whole year. I got my weight back up, and then but I wasn't getting in the easy way or anything like that. There were no wrestling schools, but I had skills. I wrestled in school,
Mm-hmm.
for the wrestling team, and a lot of the guys would show me things, and this was while I was a timekeeper, whatever, when I was coming up. So then I finally got in the ring with George Weingroff, and boy, he stretched the snot out of me. I mean, oh, I couldn't move, and then he sugared me out, or he didn't get me all the way out, and then and that was to like push me away. Well, I came back the next week, and the next week we wrestled. When he went for it, he couldn't get me. He couldn't get me, and then George got out of the ring and walked over and told my dad. He said he's ready, and my dad told me, he said, "Son, this business is not for you. I've lost
Mm-hmm.
you once. I don't want to lose you again." And then I spoke with Dusty in New
Wow.
Orleans one night on Sunday night. They had a special show at St. Bernard, and he said, "Well, baby, come on down to Florida and we'll see what we can do." And I went down to Florida. I left home, went down to Florida, and I didn't know till like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, that J.J. Dillon was uh, he was involved because I was showing up at the towns. I always had my gear with me and everything. And JJ said, "Give him a shot," So September 13th, 1983, I went into the office. We talked that morning. I said, I said, I don't want to use my own name, you know. I don't want any favors, you know. So he said, baby, he goes, you're going to be Mike Sam Houston. So September 18th or 13th, 1983, Mike Sam Houston got in the ring with Charlie Cook and had his first match. And wow, all I got to say is I can't believe it. You know, that
Yeah.
was my induction into the wrestling.
Now
Into the
your real name, if you don't mind, is Michael Smith, right?
Michael
Michael
Smith.
Smith.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're going through the process now. But I've been known as Sam Houston
Right.
worldwide since 1983, or let's get you say the 90s, whatever. But we're going through things right now with a lawyer that we know that
Legally
is
changed.
helping me. Yeah, do a legal name change. That way, everything falls under one blanket. You
Right.
know,
You own the
I
name
mean,
no matter what.
yeah. So I'll be cool then. But anyway, so I met Bart then, and then when we got to the Carolinas, we had matches now before I became champion.
Oh, okay.
They'd always put us out there, and I mean, and we would always tear the house down. We could always get the people, and no matter if one of the first matches was bad and they'd lost the tone of the show or what have you, me and Bart could go out there and get the people and get the people involved. And uh, just I remember one the after I got the 27 stitches put in my head in Fayetteville, I had to wrestle Bart in Fayetteville. Bart was supposed to work with somebody else, and I was just supposed to be in Magnum and Dusty's corner that first night. With them. The attendance had gone from $6,000. Box office was $6,000 the week before, and then I get the main event shot with them, and it goes after the stitches, and the gate was over 18,000, so it more than
Wow.
tripled the house.
So how'd you get
Damn.
So
18 stitches?
I ran or 27 stitches.
27 stitches.
Yeah. Oh, Dusty was wrestling with Tully, and it was like Baby Doll's first appearances, or just when she first started, her first appearances, and she was dressed more like a punk rocker than anything else, with all the spikes and stuff. And I was watching the match, and she threw the bracelet, the gauntlet, into the ring to Tully in the barbed wire match. Tully uses it to open Dusty up. I ran down to the ring to check on Dusty. Then he used it on me to open me up, and I ended up with 27 stitches over my eye.
Was
Well,
that
the
your first time getting color, or was that your first major time getting color?
that was no the second time.
Second time.
Second time.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first time for myself though,
Yeah.
doing it. Anyway, um, everything got dead silent. Arn and Ole had to come down to the ring and get Tully and Baby Doll out of there. I mean, it was that pin drop moment. Jake talks about it. There's stuff that happens that ooh,
So you
something
had the babyface sympathy from the crowd, and
Yeah.
that really helped get your position right up there.
And then all of a sudden, yeah, then the next week, so then they put me in there with Bart. I'm going to wrestle Bart, and the people were thunderous loud. I mean, I'm talking about shake the roof, shake the walls, everything. It was enormous. And Dusty, before the match ever started, the finish was already laid out. And Bart was going to go over. And before the match ever started, Dusty ran down to the ring and changed everything on the fly right there. And what was cool was Bart told Tommy Young, tell him I already know, because Bart said if he'd have beat me, he would not have made it out of that building alive. You know, it was that hot. So anyway, yeah, that got me started going and everything. And then I, started working, like I was working every night, and I was on the road with some incredible people, but the feud with Bart, that gave us something. You get your teeth into that piece of rawhide, you know, and that's what me and Bart were. We gosh, we worked hard. We had fun. You know, Bart wasn't, a Kurt Hennig or or Eddie Gilbert or a Ric Flair or any of them. Bart was more like Rip from Yellowstone,
Yep.
you know,
Yep. My favorite show, by the
and
way.
and but he went out there and we had some of the best matches in my career. I know in both our careers. Matter of fact, I was going to show you folks and stuff. This is the Bart's autograph book. This is the one he autographed to me. No, this is the one he autographed to me. Sorry. It says Sam. Uh, Thank you for all you've helped uh, wait. Thank you for all your help. I can't read this last thing, and it says, "Oh, thank you for all your help and contributions." I'm sorry, and it said, "To the best worker in the business, Black Bart."
Very nice.
That's very nice.
You know,
Just so
and then
people.
I've got I went ahead because I'm trying to help, guys, wrestlers don't have life insurance or anything like that and stuff. And Bart's widow, Linda, she's a super sweet lady, but she doesn't have a lot of connections in the wrestling business or anything else like that. So I told her, uh, I went ahead and got the rest of the autograph books that Bart signed,
Hmm.
and I've got these, and I want to continue making contributions to Linda. So if people would like an autographed copy of Black Bart's book, please reach out to us at Sam Houston. You can get your copy for $100. There's
Okay.
I think of only about 20 left, maybe 25. But I want to, he's gone, and but the wrestling fans out there, if you want something valuable, we can help, and we can help, because wrestlers, like I said, we don't get life insurance and stuff like that. Now, one of the things that broke my heart was I went down to Dallas when they did WrestleMania in Dallas the second time. Well, I was there both times, but the second time they did it, my wife and I went, and I was my own vendor, and I got there and I found out that nobody had Bart at a vendor table or anything else. And I asked him if he would like to, because he was dealing with his medical issues then. I asked him if he'd like to come and share my table with me. So he came up, and while we were sitting there talking, we were talking about our matches and everything. And I had this idea, um, and Bart actually, I purchased the bells and the rope and everything, and then Bart made like mini Texas bull ropes, and I signed one side of it, and Bart signed the other side of it. And this is the good part: it comes in a potato sack, tongue in cheek, a potato sack with my image on one side and Bart's image on the other. And these are there's only 14 left, and they're $500 a piece. But this is so that we may continue to keep making donations. And then I've got some Black Bart, some pictures of me and Black Bart, 8x10 black and white pictures of some of our bloodier battles. And he's already signed them. And as soon as the order comes in, I'll autograph them too, and we'll send them out for $100 a piece, so we can continue to give back and help people. You
That's
know,
very nice.
uh, he helped a lot of people in the business as far as training. He trained JBL.
Yep.
I hear, okay, I hear he was behind him and Bobby Duncombe. JBL and John Hawk was his name back then. John Hawk and Bobby Duncombe were a tag. Bobby Duncombe Jr. were a tag team partner in Texas,
Hmm.
and Bart helped them quite a bit. And he got him up there in it, and then I polished Bobby Duncombe Jr. off quite a bit, and then I got tagged. Me and Johnny Hawk JBL were tag team partners in Texas quite a bit, and we wrestled the Rock and Roll Express all over the place for the NWA tag team title. So
Wow.
that was pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff.
Before we get into the next thing, so any of the stuff right there that Sam just mentioned, the book, the pictures, and the bull rope, I will be putting it on a link so everyone can that's watching the show on our social media and stuff. So it's going to link to Sam, and I'll have pictures and stuff like that when I air the show.
Oh, can I say something?
Sure.
And I don't want to be rude when I
Sure.
say this or
Sure.
sound this way, but you know, if you want one of these things, great. And but don't come and start trying to say, oh, well, I'll give you 75 or I'll give yeah. No, you know,
Yeah.
this is what we're doing to help.
Yeah.
It's kind of like if somebody goes to like these fairs and stuff like that, and somebody that's mentally challenged or physically challenged makes crafts or something,
Yeah.
and they've got their things on a table, and somebody goes, "Well, I'll give you $10 for it," and it's got to, why are you going to do that to somebody that definitely needs to be paid for the work that they're doing?
Yep.
So
100%.
yeah, yeah,
And
just
Black Bart was your friend, and
yeah.
for those who don't know, Black Bart passed away in January 9th, 2025, is as I look at the Never Reliable Wikipedia. Um,
Yeah. And he helped me with my cancer and the decisions I was making. But let me go ahead and tell you a little bit more about Bart. We wrestled in Baltimore one night, and back then the NWA had the A team and the B team.
hmm
And the A team was Flair and the Four Horsemen and Dusty, and then the B team was the Rock and Roll Express and the Midnight Express and me and Bart. So me and Bart were in the semifinal in Baltimore. We had a match that just tore the house down. I mean, it was a Texas death match. The state athletic commission tried to get involved to stop it. Everything. It just we tore the house down. So we come back, and now we go back to Baltimore, and now it's a super card. So I'm in with against Black Bart in a regular match. Now the last show there, we were in Texas death match. So I walk up to Dusty and I said, Dusty, I said, the last time we were in a Texas death match. I said, now we're just in second match, you know. I said, how do we follow that? He said, baby, follow it the best way you know how. Well, went over and told Bart. He said, damn it, make a bleed. So we went out there and we beat each other up. We beat the state athletic commission up. The people were going ape shit crazy. It was a wild night for us. We make it back to the dressing room. The state athletic commissioner was going to try to close the show down. Bart talks about it in his book. Um, and then the same thing, they were going to close the show down uh, uh, and told Dusty to go out to the ring and make an announcement. And Dusty said, "No, you go make an announcement." And they didn't want to do that. So the show went on, but the people were physically, just emotionally spent. Whenever the Road Warriors and Rock and Roll Express, Flair, whenever all these big names, whenever they went out to the ring, the people were like, they had nothing left in them because they'd used it all on me and Bart, and that happened in Pennsylvania and Maryland. So we're not allowed to wrestle. We weren't allowed to wrestle in those two states. Um,
How many bull
anyway,
rope matches did you have with them, or Texas
oh
death matches?
gosh,
Like how many?
we had bull rope matches. We ended up having Texas death matches. Just wherever, whenever they needed a gimmick match or wanted a gimmick match or needed something to pizzazz the main event or because me and Bart, I don't think we ever worked main event on any of the B team shows, but we were always semifinal.
And you guys laid
You
each
know.
other in pretty good. So
Oh
you
yeah,
you
yeah,
you
we wasn't
shoot
afraid.
got hit with that bell. many
Yeah,
times.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. One night I dropped
He
my
rung your
thing,
bell.
right? Yeah, no, I dropped my deal. I carried my thing on my finger. I dropped my thing, and it was outside show, and Bart dropped on the floor and he grabbed me by the hair, and I was just hollering, "Wait, wait!" And he slams me in the post. I said, "I dropped my thing." He goes, "You don't need it now." He's busting me big time all over the place. But that's part of the business, you
The
know.
hard way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
you got to get it in.
is
Yeah.
this a feud that you took
So
from
anyway,
territory to territory, or is this just something that was like something you did exclusive to Mid Atlantic?
well, that was me and okay. When I got to Texas and everything, I worked against Bart quite a few times. And when Crockett came in and took over Texas, he came in and one of his things was, or he was going to make me and Bart tag team partners. Well, I'd already had a deal laid out, and Bart and Mike Davis both knew it. You know, every time I got in the ring with them, I was going to potato them one time during that match because of things they'd done to me when I was breaking in. So one time in every match, I get in there and I cross their eyes. You hit them right here in the middle of the forehead and set them on their butt in the corner. I would tag in. Mike Davis would be holding the guy's arm, and I would hit Mike, and then I'd grab the guy's arm, even if he was my tag team partner. Bart the same way, getting him every time. So anyway, uh, it, it, we just knew it was. I mean, I knew I was going to get the receipt, but hey, that was the fun in it, you know. Um, but yeah, so me and Bart were tag team partners, and then
Oh. Were you
so
guys
we were in.
heels? Were you heels?
No, we were baby faces.
Baby faces.
Well, I
Yeah,
can't picture
against Dick
Black Bart as a
Murdoch and
baby
Randy
face.
Rhodes.
No.
Yeah, against Dick Murdoch and Randy Rhodes.
Oh boy.
So I'm in the ring in Waco, Texas, working. I got a short arm scissor on Murdoch, and I've been in there for a while. So finally, I need to tag out and catch my breath. Reach up, tag Bart. I roll up, hold the arm out, and Bart grabs the arm, and I'm getting out of the ring, and he turns back around. He tags me back. He says, "Sam, you're going to have to show me how you did that hold." I said, "I've had you in that hold 100 times." And he goes, "I've always been in it. I ain't never done it." I had to get back in the ring. Oh, it was a whole production. I had to show him how to twist in and get in the move. Oh, it was great. But it's things like that that you remember. They're just, stick out like, I guess diamonds in your memories and stuff. Those flashing points.
Mhm.
But I always had fun with Bart. Uh, and and he was the world. Oh, by the way, I now remember what I was going to tell you. If you have anybody listening that would be interested in purchasing Bart's two titles from World Class Championship Wrestling, I understand that they're looking around now. I'm thinking they're going to go for about $3,500 a piece.
Wow.
Okay.
One is when he was the world champion, and one was when he was the world class world tag team champions.
Hmm.
So if anybody's out there, they want to find out more information on that.
And those are
we
not
have to
replicas. Those are the legit
Those
titles.
are his actual
Yep,
titles,
yep.
yeah, that
Okay.
he carried.
And the
So,
world class title is the heavyweight championship is one of the best belt designs of all time. That thing was amazing.
Well, he's got the world class tag team titles. Now his world class world title looks like a replica of the old NWA world title.
Okay.
So, but that's the one he held, and that's the one I saw on ESPN.
Yeah, if you
But
have photos or something at some point, we'll
Yeah, I'll
definitely
get
send them to me.
you.
Yeah.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
But anyway, and then I guess fast forward years. One of the things that hurt me the worst was when Bart came there and signed autographs at my table. One of the fans wanted, and Bart sold him his wrestling boots that Dusty Rhodes had given him.
Oh.
Dusty had died a few years earlier, and this is the last thing out of your career, or one of the big things out of your career to be remembered by for your family, and but he had to let those go for $1,000. And
Worth
oh,
so
it
much
just broke
more.
my
So
heart.
much more.
So yeah, so I paid Bart to make the belt. I mean, to make the bull ropes and everything, and then we signed him, and so I'm going to help out on that. But yeah, that kind of hurts. Well, Bart had cancer, and he was undergoing cancer treatments and stuff like that. Well, I started calling him up after that, and we'd talk once a week or a couple of times a week. And then when I found out about his how bad the cancer was, we were talking every other day. And he was going through the chemotherapy, and he was crying on the phone to me. He's like, Sam, it's killing me, it's killing me. And I was trying to learn about natural cures that help and everything. Well, Charlie Norris passed, my tag team partner. I don't know anybody will remember, but yeah, uh, we went around the world 7 times together.
I remember Charlie
And
Norris in WCW, but I think that was at the tail
yeah,
end of his career.
that's him. We were the Renegades. We went farther than his WCW career
Hmm.
ever took us. 5 super successful tours of Japan, the New Guinea thing, the whole 9 yards. But anyway, I got together with Charlie, and Charlie had passed away, so I went up to Minnesota. I mean, he and I were closer than brothers. We're the same person, just a little bit different in height and weight and stuff like that. I mean, we were the same. It was weird, so many coincidences and things. I'm 10 days older, but just different things, and we worked well together. We were a well-oiled team. When Charlie had passed, well, when I got word, my wife and I jumped in my truck and we drove to Minnesota. And when we got there, I had to go through his things and find out if find everything, give his things away through Indian traditions and stuff. So while I was up there, we had his ceremony, and then I had to. Now I'd been worked at the cemeteries in New Orleans uh, for a while in the '90s and 2000s. So cemetery work wasn't foreign to me. I wasn't sure of all the different traditions because different things have different traditions. Well, I had to get in Charlie's grave and to put the coffin in a box, and then the best friends got to get down there and hammer the lid on the box, and then you cover it up with dirt. So, but anyway, a few things happened on that. Well, the medicine man that officiated Charlie's funeral, his name is Jason Hart. Well, the family realized, that I've been a member of the tribe for 30 years and had never gotten my Indian name.
Hmm.
So Jason, agreed to give me my spiritual name. But there's a protocol to it. You have to do a tobacco journey, and this, that, and the other. So they give me the protocol. So I come back home from the funeral, and then I was diagnosed with stage 1 lung cancer. I'm going to light a cigarette. And it wasn't from smoking. It was a genetic disorder in the doctor came and told me. I was like, I was smoking 44 years. He goes, it's not from cigarettes. It's from a genetic mutation from something. It's like, okay, and it was a small nodule. Well, right away I knew I wanted to have it taken out, and and they wanted to do a biopsy first. Well, but I wanted, I looked into it because this is my body, But I knew they were telling me the upper right lobe they could go in and just take that little piece out, and I'd lose 15% of my wind. Well, before I did that, I wanted to get my name, my Indian name. So we made the tobacco journey. Jason met us in Green Bay, Wisconsin. We went out to a lake. We went through a learning, a teaching, the Ojibwe teachings. So we had an afternoon with that. Everybody went back the next day. Then in July we went up for the powwow, And when we went up, my daughter was there, my wife was there. We went up for the powwow, and we went through my naming ceremony. And Jason asked me, he said, "What do you want?" And I said, "Only the truth," you know, through all my teachings that I've been getting. And so anyways, we're going through the ceremony and everything, and I was given my name. Everybody went around the circle, and he announced my name, and my Indian name, my Ojibwe name is Memush Kawigabo, which means still standing strong. He said, "Sam," he said, "when I smoked your tobacco," he said, "the spirits talk to me like they have never talked to me before." He said, "You've had a wild life, you know," and I have. So, but anyway, he gave me the name Still Standing Strong. After the powwow and everything, we my wife and I drove back to the Carolinas, uh, and then 2 days later, I had my lung removed, the upper right lobe of my lung. So the first day after the surgery, I got up and I walked 300 yards, and then the second day I walked 600 yards. So they went ahead and released me to go home. We get home and I'm there for a week, and we go in for the doctor consultation visit, and he tells me, he said, "Sir, we're sorry to inform you, but your stage one lung cancer is now stage three." So when we did the biopsy, they cut into the tumor, the cancer, the sickness leaked out around my heart valve and around my esophagus, the bottom of my esophagus.
What year was this, Sam?
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. 24. Yeah. So they cut it out. Then they tell me stage three cancer, and they offered me they told me, they said, your treatment plan is going to require um, targeted radiation, chemotherapy, and then we have this pill that's got about $17,500 a month for the prescription.
Jeez.
And you have to take that for 1 to 3 years. Well, I was on the phone with Bart every day, and and I'm just newly married and everything, and I'm having the happiest life. I've got the greatest wife, but here I've got to choose the way I'm going to die, and how I'm going to go out. Are these people going to witness me screaming like what my friend did to me? And I didn't want that, and I prayed, I did everything, and then the medicine man. Um, Jason has replaced Charlie basically kind of in my life and everything, because I'm trying to learn. I'm part Chippewa. I mean, I'm part Comanche and part Cherokee, and then I'm a member of the Chippewa Nation, and that's where I'm getting my learning from now, or learning from now. But so Jason has basically replaced Charlie's position in my life as a brother and a friend and everything. So I was getting ready for the targeted radiation, and I was like 2 weeks into it, and it had me dragging, dragging, dragging. And I had told him no on the chemotherapy, but that targeted radiation, it was taking it out of me. It wasn't as bad as chemo, I don't think, but it was taking it out of me. I had no energy. I was just dragging. So we make arrangements. He tells me, he says, "Sam," he goes, "I can do a Eagle Bones healing ceremony on you." And he told me about it. And he told me it's a little boy and a water drum healing ceremony done with eagle bones. And he explains it out to me. So we make arrangements for him to come out. He came out the third week into the targeted radiation for the weekend. And dude, it was the most beautiful thing. They would pick him up at the airport after my radiation that day, and I was dead. But we got back to the house. We got our things loaded up, and we went to my wife's family. As we have a cabin up in Boone, North Carolina. And it's just beautiful, and that's where I wanted to be, in nature, where you can feel the Creator around you.
Mm-hmm.
So we go there, and we have a creek and the whole 9 yards there, and staircase down to it, so it's not too difficult. So I wanted to do the healing ceremony there. So we get there on Friday. Uh, the girls went to the grocery store to get groceries for us, and Jason and I were sitting outside smoking a cigarette, and a white weasel ran by. And he goes, "That's a good sign." I didn't know what he was talking about, but anyway, I found out the next day. A white weasel ran by. Anyway, we had a good evening that evening, good meal. The next morning, we're starting to prepare and get ready. Well, when we get ready to start doing the ceremony, we lay out the blanket, we lay all the gifts out, and we start doing with the ceremony. He takes the drum, and we've got to put the drum together with these stones that were made by the thunder beings. They're perfectly round stones, and but you tie the drum together. So he tells us the story of the old grandmother and the little boy in the tree while we're tying the water drum together and the sickness. So as we go through that, we get the drum put all together. My wife and I did all the tying and everything. When it turns, then at the end of the thing, when he tells us about the drum, he tells us when he plays the drum, he points to the center on the underside of the drum. He said the sickness will go here to the center of the universe. He spun over. We went in, we did our ceremony, played the drum. When he was laying out the gifts and everything, he laid out an animal pelt, and it was a white weasel, the same like the white weasel we'd seen the night before.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, uh, we do our ceremony. He gave my wife tobacco in her hand to go outside and pray. When we went upstairs and did the doctoring, he did the doctoring. He used a copper cup. I drink water out of a copper now that I know about copper, and um, it cleans your water. Any carcinogens and stuff like that. That purifies water. So that's all I drink out of now. But he used a like a copper glass with creek water, living water. He used creek water, and then we went upstairs. We did a couple of songs with the drum. Then he used a golden eagle feather, a young golden eagle feather, to show him where the sickness was in my body. Poured the water on me, and then used the eagle bone to suck to ingest the sickness out of me into him. And then he regurgitated in a Ziploc bag, sealed it, and then I had to go and bury that bag to where it could hurt no other creatures. So I was halfway up the mountain, and I dug me a big old hole, 3 foot hole, and put that sickness in there and covered it all up. Okay, then we're coming back the following day, or next morning. I wake up and I walk down to the creek, and it's like 60 stairs. The staircase is a winding staircase that takes you to the creek. So I go down to the creek, and I was going, and I go there every morning and sit there and smoke a cigarette with my partner and talk to Charlie, And I'm sitting there, and I was like, "Wow, my side's burning." And he said, "Well, wash it off in the living water." This is the way it came to me. So I grabbed some creek water and threw it on me a couple of times, and I was like, "Okay." So now I walk back up the stairs. Before I made it back up to the stairs to our level, which is the bottom level of the cabin, before I made it to the top of the stairs, burning had quit. I walk in the bedroom. I tell my wife, and I took a big chance because she don't like to get woke up like this. But I woke her up, and I told her, I said, "My side's not burning." I couldn't believe it. So we got up and everything. We went up through our normal day, and I had energy. But I didn't know if I had energy because I didn't do radiation the day before, or what it was, but I had more energy, so I felt good. And then so the next day, I take Jason and Aaron uh, to the airport. Jason and Aaron, his girlfriend, to the airport. She's also his helper, and she helps with medicines and stuff like that, natural medicines. Anyway, I take them to the airport, and he tells me I've got to find some place where a skunk has been run over, or a skunk's been somewhere. He goes, I need to smell that for about 10 or 15 minutes. He said that's strong medicine for your lungs. And I was like, okay, well now I've got like skunk funk. And wouldn't you know, just so happens that when I dropped them off at the airport, as I'm leaving the airport, my mother-in-law calls me and she said, "Are you on your way home?" And I said, "Yes, ma'am." She says, she goes, "Your father-in-law has killed a skunk in the barn and it's horrible. We need help." So I knew I got my skunk funk there. I got me about a half hour of good old clean skunk funk on that one. you know. So then I go back to the radiation doctors, and I go there for like 3 or 4 days, and they're kind of looking at me funny. And then on the doctor consultation day, my wife Kim, we go in together, and the guy goes, "How did you change your diet? What have you changed about what is going on with you?" And I told him, and he spun around in his chair, and he said, "Sir, you're a effing miracle." He said, last week you were at stage 3 cancer. This week we can't find any cancer in your body.
Wow.
I went ahead and completed the last 2 weeks of the radiation. It did not make me tired because of the foods, I think, and the things I was doing to help my body heal. Yeah, it's possible to beat it.
Yeah.
I want people to know but you need to change your diet. You need to have faith.
Now you're completely
You know,
cancer free right now?
I'm completely cancer free. Just went
That's
to the
amazing.
Yeah,
the
that's amazing.
last month on that. Had the new CT scan done. Not a spot on me. I'm doing really good.
That's
So
that's
so every day's above ground is a good day.
that is awesome. Are we okay to go? Are you still okay to keep
Sure.
going a little while
Yeah.
longer? I want to get into some road stories. I remember the first episode you did with us. You did the story with Dusty Rhodes and the peeing on the car,
Uh-huh.
on his car and stuff. Do you have any more? Anything different? Anything new that you could?
Well, me and Jake, we were kind of. Have I told you any about us?
I think I remember a Jake story too in that in the podcast. But for
Was
all the
that where
fans
you
who
put the
didn't,
snake on me in the
No,
bed?
it wasn't the one where he put the snake on you.
no, let's hear that one.
Yeah,
then.
let's hear that.
Yeah.
We, okay, I was working for Vince and everything, and they had us traveling like you wouldn't believe. So, you hook up with your buddies, you hook up with your friends when you're on the road. So if Jake and Duggan and me were together, we'd always hang together. 'Cause the old Mid South guys would kind of hang together some, but you travel with just about anybody. But anyway, but if we were together, we were renting the car together, the whole 9 yards. So we get to Boston, and I had already quit sharing rooms. I think the thing with Lanny Poffo had already happened in Toronto.
Yeah,
Oh, we,
uh,
we'll go
so
back to
I
that
had
story.
quit
I wanna
sharing
hear that.
rooms.
yeah, we need to know about that.
Yeah, we need to hear the Lenny Poffo story.
Is that the whole thing where he could do something really flexible?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That was the whole story on
Do you know about that, Josh?
No, I have never heard that story.
So Lanny could,
Oh.
maybe Sam should
Yeah.
say it.
Satisfy himself orally.
Yeah. Yeah. He
Yeah. And when you walk in on that,
is a heck of a trick.
Yeah, I don't know that I'd want to walk into my roommate doing that.
yeah. So anyway, oh, that had already happened. So, so I don't share rooms with nobody no more. There was something happening in Florida, and so after those couple of experiences, I decided I didn't want to share rooms with nobody no more. Till Charlie came along. So anyway,
I kind of wonder
Jake
what
gets
Vince's reaction to hearing about that would be. That's that's magnificent or something. I don't know.
Yeah. We can
In the
make some
Attitude Era, he
dollars
would have
with
made that
this.
Paphos gimmick.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh.
So anyway, I was gonna say I will not, I won't bash the dead, but that's not bashable. That's, you know. Anyway, so I
Kind
didn't
of
share
admirable.
rooms with nobody. We show up in Boston, and we ride the shuttle over to the hotel, the airport Hilton there on the airport grounds there in Boston. So Jake looks at me when we're checking in. He goes, "Man, the rooms are $160 a night here." He said, "We're only going to be in the room about 4 or 5 hours, 2 to 7 or whatever, because you got to figure you're going to be at the bar till 2. So, so you want to just share a room?" And I remember sitting there. Okay, you're my brother. Okay, I'll do it with you. So we get a room together. Okay, everybody goes to the room. We all call home. Okay, honey, gonna go have a beer. Then we go down to the bar. And back then we used to H bomb every people all the time and shave eyebrows and all kinds of stuff. Well, I was sitting there having my beer, and I feel like everything's closing in on me, and I'm in
Uh-oh.
this cave, and it's dark. So right away, I know I've been H bombed.
Yeah.
And I look at Duggan and Jake, and I'm like, "You MFers." I said, "If I wake up with no eyebrows, I'm going to kill you both." They go, "Oh, no, no, no. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that." So I make it to the room. I mean, I'm struggling, but I make it to the room. I get to the room, I rip my clothes off. I just fall on the bed. I'm laying there. Now, the thing about halcyons, when you wake up on a halcyon, you wake up pretty crisp, like you've had a cup of coffee already. But I wake up and Damien's head is right here on my shoulder. Now, this snake's head is about this wide. He was a big snake. And his head is right here. I'm not afraid of snakes. I used to have to help him with them all the time and stuff when it'd go nuts and stuff. But I'm not afraid of snakes. But I don't want to. I don't want them wrapped around me when I'm sleeping. So I jump up one step and I'm halfway to the door. The second step, I'm out the door running down the hall. Then I realize I ain't got a stitch of clothes on.
Oh no.
You know? So I run back to the room. Now I'm banging on the door,
Oh.
and Jake's not letting me in.
Oh my God.
He knew. He knew. He's not letting me in. But I'm making so much room and the noise in the hall. Duggan comes out across the hall out of his room, throws a bedspread on me, takes me back to his room. I have to sit there till Jake goes to the airport before he'll let me in the room because he knows I'm mad. So anyway, I don't see my brother for 6 weeks, and then we got back together out in Wisconsin, had a TV taping there. It was this one town. It was a great town that had a Holiday Inn that everybody stayed at. I can't remember the name of the town right now. But Jake was wearing, he'd started wearing these Don Johnson Miami Vice, suits, the silk suits. And he had just been on the cover of Ellery Queen magazine, the little crime magazine.
Ah.
And when he sees me at the TV, he's like, people, everywhere I go now, people are recognizing me on the cover of Ellery Queen and this, that, and the other. Well, you look like something, So I'm like, okay. But it had been 6 weeks from the snake incident. So after the TV taping.
So you probably forgot about
getting
you getting them back.
Oh, yeah. After the TV taping, we come back to the hotel bar and we're having some beers.
Oh, hold on. Your sound cut out. You hear me?
So
hold on, your sound cut out. Just back up just so.
I hear you.
Oh, okay. You hear me? Okay. Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, uh, he's sitting there in his suit and he drinks his beer. Well, about 20 minutes later, boy, he starts getting that lean, where you start, and then the drool starts. So, so when the drool started and everything, I was like, "Oh no, Jake, you've been H bomb. We got to get you up out of here," because he was the number three man in the company, and he was, everybody was out to stab him in the back. I mean, come on, be real. Yeah, he had his demons and stuff like that, but one of the things was he was just too good. Nobody could really compete with him on a business level, on a mind level,
Mm.
and therefore there was a lot of daggers out for him. But I was like, we got to get you out of here, blah blah blah. And I'm running my mouth 90 miles an hour, and I walk him to the front desk, and I was like, ma'am, look at him. I said, this is my brother. He's been Mickeyed in the bar. I said, give me the key to his room. She said, sir, you're checked in under Houston. He's under Roberts. I can't do that. I said, ma'am, he's 6'7", 270 pounds. I'll leave him with you. Here's his key. So she just I carry him to his room. I get him to his room, and I just throw his ass on his bed. I just throw him down. Then I go over there and push. They had the Spectravision on the TV, and you watch the release new release movies for $9 a piece.
Yep.
So went over and pushed the first button. You got to let that play for 5 minutes to get charged the $9, and then you go push another button. So he bought all nine of those movies. He didn't watch them, but he purchased them. And then I picked up the phone and I called and I got me a case of beer, a bottle of Crown Royal, and 2 liter Coke on him, and got me a couple steak dinners. Found the smoke, smoked all that, and then that wasn't enough. That just wasn't enough. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at what time it is. And I watched all these movies now. I'm looking at what time it is, and I'm thinking he needs to get to the airport super early. So his flight was at 6:30 and mine was like 7:15. So how could I make that happen? Oh, I know. I'll set the alarm, his clock. I'll set the time part 2 hours early. So it was 2 o'clock in the morning. So I set his clock to where it said 4 o'clock in the morning. And he's got to get up in 2.5 hours. So I go back on to my room at 4 o'clock in the morning. I go back to his room. I got the rent a car at the front desk. I'm sitting there. I go to his room. I'm banging on the door. Jake, 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 come on, come on. They use my key to get in. Go over there, shake him awake, point at the alarm clock. It's 6 o'clock, brother. We got to get you to the airport because Vince had a fine if you missed your flight. And he would always put us on the first flights out. Um, I was like, we got to get you to the airport. Yeah. And he's like, and he's getting up and he's picking stuff up, and I'm helping him with his gear and telling him, I've been at the front desk, blah, blah, 20 minutes honking the horn, waiting on you. So, before that happened, though, before I left the room, after I set the alarm clock off, I should tell you this. We wore those boogie bags back then, the fanny packs.
Oh, fanny packs.
I unzipped mine. And you got a Sharpie marker for signing autographs, and Jake had a forehead, just a big beam in the forehead,
Oh.
So I wrote "stupid" across his head in my Sharpie marker.
He was just
So
asking
now
for it.
we're running down. He hadn't looked in the mirror yet because I'll get him up so fast. We're running down the hall. As we run by the lady at the front desk, he throws her the key. She catches the key and she goes, because he got stupid written on his head. And he looks at her and he goes, yeah, baby, it's me, the snake. I got the coolest brother in
That's
the world,
awesome.
So anyway, so I'm running my mouth 90 miles an hour the whole way to the airport. It wasn't that far, just a couple of minutes. I said, I'm going to drop you off at the front. My flight's not for 45 minutes. I'm going to drop you off, get you up. If I see you inside, I see you inside. If I don't, I see you down the road. I drop him off. When I dropped him off outside, he's looking because it's still dark. and he's supposed to be like running late. So, so he walks in. I go drop the rent a car off, and I come back on the elevator, and he's standing at the U.S. Air desk by himself. There's this one blonde lady attendant working on his stuff, but there ain't nobody there. So I walk right up, and her eyes, they were so shiny with tears. It was funny. Anyway, she's looking at him and smiling. Yeah. And other ticket agents from the other airlines are poking out of their office from behind their desk, waving at him. And I go up and I stand next to him, and he goes, "Man," he goes, "that Ellery Queen magazine, everybody's stopping and waving at me." I was like, "Yeah, yeah." And I turned back to the lady, and I know her face is hurting because she's laughing. And she looks at me and she like does her head towards him a couple of times, and I just looked at her and smiled. So Jake turns around to me and he goes, "Man, it's only 4:20 in the morning." I said, "Damn it, Jake. I bet it was those damn British bulldogs. I don't know how they keep pulling these ribs and stuff like that, but somebody's got to do something." I said, "They're getting everybody. He's like, "Yeah, yeah." He goes, "I guess you turned the car in." I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Let's go get some breakfast." So as we go through security, he has got to take pictures. They want pictures. Everybody wants pictures. So we make it down the concourse to the runway, or to the restaurant, or the where the planes are going. And there's a restaurant. And a woman's wiping off a table. So we walk in, and she looks up and she kind of spits. And he goes, "Yeah, baby, it's me, Snake." As we sit down. So we both order a cup of coffee. He's looking at a menu. She comes back with the coffee, and she's taking his order. Well, he writes an autograph. He signs an autograph for her and goes to hand it to her. Well, she didn't want that. So she goes like back and forth for it a couple of times. Finally, she takes it and puts it in her apron. He orders a big breakfast, and he goes, "Bro, things have been going so fast this morning." He goes, "I hadn't had time to go to the bathroom." So, yeah, I'll be right back. As soon as he walked in that bathroom, boom! I hit the front door of that airplane. And was gone. So I knew he was out of there. So 2 months later, excuse me, 2 months later, we finally see each other in Toronto. I like to get to the buildings a few minutes, earlier than anybody else. Usually walk around and stuff. And when I walked into the dressing room door, I opened the door, and Jake was sitting right there. He had another chair right next to the door. And he goes, "Ha, ha, ha, ha. Sit down, bro." you know? So I sat down, and so we talked. That was funny, blah, blah, blah. "Are we going to have any problems?" I said, "You don't do nothing, I won't. I'm cool." you know? But yeah, we used to do stuff. That was a good one. And then, well, he did do a good one after that. I had to, I guess, during the steroid stuff and all that stuff up there, I had gotten into the parabolan uh, for a little bit, and it was the cleanest drug you could take at the time for enhancement. So I took that for a little bit, but I got roid rages. I raised my voice to my wife at the airport, and when I did that, I quit taking it. So I was on steroids, but wasn't on them long. But anyway, while I was taking them, we were driving to South Bend, Indiana, from some Wisconsin town again for TV taping. We were doing 100 miles an hour down this 2-lane highway, and all of a sudden the road dogleg, but we shot across the intersection. Now we're on a 1-lane dirt road. So he takes his foot off the gas, and we ease our speed down, and we finally we're on that 1-lane dirt road, and we were trying to turn the Lincoln Town car, you know, and go back the other way. And he drove the front end off into a ditch, and the back end came off the ground, and the car was like this. And I told him, I said, we got enough beer and weed, to hang out for a while. He goes, we got to get the TV taping. So they ain't going to find us out here on this one lane dirt road. And he comes on, he goes, dude, he goes, if you get down in the ditch, he goes, as strong as you are on that stuff. Because my bench went from 460 pounds for one rep to 505 for 8 or 10 reps. I mean, I was a beast.
Wow.
He said, if you get down in that ditch and pick up on the front bumper like that and press the bumper over your head, the back tires will hit the ground and I can back us out of here. I was like, okay. So I get down in the ditch and I grab the front bumper and boy, I give it the old good one. And I finally get it up and I press it and the back tires hit the ground. And as soon as the back tires hit the ground, because it had rained earlier as well, he hit those wheels and he covered me with like about an inch layer thick of mud. And he wouldn't let me get cleaned up. I had to sit in the car and drive the other 100 miles or whatever it was. I looked like something out of the 101 Dalmatians movie. But yeah, it was fun stuff on the road, but I always have fun.
Yeah. We have about 10 to 15 minutes left. We'll
Sure.
try to keep it around 10. Real quick. I know last episode 4 years ago we talked about whether you still watch wrestling. You said no, you don't really watch it now. During the WrestleMania weekend a few years ago, did you meet any of the current stars? I mean, do you stay in contact with anybody, Dusty's kid or anything, Cody or?
Okay, when I see the guys I know in public, yeah, I go talk to them. I'm always the first one at an event that goes around and shakes hands with everybody there, and I always introduce myself, even if I don't know them. Like when I met the Big Show, I walked up to him and I shook his hand and introduced myself, and he about fell to his knees.
Yeah.
I didn't know that he thought but he had me on that platform.
He knew who you were, yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I go around and now with everything, I take my wife everywhere with me now. So I think it's cool to take her around and introduce her to people and everybody's got a story they can tell her about me. Flair, when I took her, we went to New York to an event and, anyway, Flair was on the event, Kevin Nash, quite a few guys were on the event, and I was able to take her. But when I took her over to Flair, and Flair had a big line, I just wanted to slide by, shake hands with him, say, hey, we're here, we'll catch up later. And I introduced Kim to Flair, and he stopped everything, and he said, sit here for just a moment. So Kim sat down over there. He signed his autographs, got the line work down. And then he said, I wanted to sit here and tell you about how cool your husband is. He said, he saved our lives in a riot in an Omni in Atlanta. And he told her the story about when got over the cage and the horseman had broken Dusty's leg. But the people were mobbed in, and I had to get them out of the cage. So I took a beating from all four of them all the way back to get them to the dressing room, to keep the people back and away. Because if they saw somebody else doing it, taking care of it, then they'll stay back. But if they don't, So, but he told her that story. And then she thinks I'm pretty special anyway.
Yeah.
So, but it's just one of those things that, props that feather back up in my cap, that I was instrumental in doing something, that I was, and that's how I want to be perceived now. I want to be able to, I don't really watch the stuff now. I mean, I might watch something here or there or a match here or there. But nothing, if it doesn't look believable, it's not worth my interest because that's not what I did. What I did was I went out there and did the best job I could. I didn't miss nobody when I hit them.
Yep, right.
Yeah, they might not like it. We'll go back to flipping burgers.
Josh, did you have any questions?
Yeah, I did. So back then, if you could have formed a tag team with anyone, who would it have been with, and would you have been baby faces or heels?
Where back when? I
Yeah,
mean, I
like in
already
the
had.
'80s, if you could have teamed with
Okay,
anyone who you weren't a normal
yeah.
tag team partner with.
If okay, when I was getting my job back with WCW, and my dad ended up. I flew out to Atlanta. He got sick. He had to have his stomach removed. Well, Charlie Norris, I'd met Charlie 4 years earlier at his tryout match with WWF, and he buried his thumb like halfway into my eye. And and it wasn't a great match. I mean, it was a good match for a little bit, but then after that, it just So anyway, I beat him with a bulldog. Uh, 4 years later, I run into Charlie Norris at in Atlanta. He had signed on with WCW, and I'm pulling my dad out of the hospital, and I'm taking him to the front desk, and there's this big Indian guy there, and he said, "Sam Houston, do you remember me?" And I was like, "No." He said, "You whipped my ass about 4 years ago," and I was like, "Oh no, this big son of a gun wants to fight." So I'm taking my dad to the front desk, and he says, "That's your dad?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Let me help you with it." So he helped me get my dad back to the room. We came back. I was a big drinker back then, so we were drinking. And he helped me change my dad's bandages in his wounds and everything, and told me about the troubles he was having at the developmental center, the power plant. So I said, "Well, I'll go with you tomorrow." So we partied that night, and then we went to the ring the next day. And I was able to stay in the ring for 3 hours with him that day and go through a great workout. Well, I ended up, WCW was talking about offering me a contract. And my dad went back to the office and said, "That's too much money for him." Just some bad stuff.
Hmm.
Anyway, I went to Jim Barnett, and talked to him about, because Charlie and I had been working out for 3 months every day in the ring, hard too, for a couple hours, and putting us together in a tag. And then the next week, he's in a tag with Dustin Rhodes. I got nothing against Dustin or anything. I love Dustin to death, but it was kind of like that was what I was shooting for. And then so I kind of got disgusted with WCW, with my dad and everything, cutting my pay. Uh, and so I went back to California, and then when Charlie's time with WCW was up, then we ventured out. And we took over the PWA up in the Minnesota states, and up around there. We were working out Houston, the Dallas office, and then we got all the so. But I was also blessed with working with guys like Nelson Royal, who taught me how to be a ring general. He taught me everything I needed. Johnny Weaver. I've had wonderful tag team partners, as far as being able to teach me and everything. But the only tag team partner that I is Charlie Norris. That's it for me,
Okay.
because we were one. And when you fit together so well, uh, it's not going to be any other way.
Josh, you had another question
Well,
before
yeah.
we start
So
rapid fire smash?
right. So if you and Charlie Norris had been a full-time tag team, would you have wanted to be baby faces or heels?
Oh, baby faces probably. You know, I tried being a heel twice, and the people just because I still got cheered. I poke a guy in the eye, "Oh, yay!"
Mhm.
you know, they like my style, I guess.
All right.
But
Thank
yeah,
you.
I think would have been. I think we would have been a dominant heel team if we'd have been a really dominant heel team. But we liked helping people.
Okay.
All right. So we're gonna finish this up, but because they need to use the studio.
Okay.
But we will. We have this one last segment, and I call it Rapid Fire Smash. Seeing the podcast is Double Axe Handle
Oh,
Smash,
okay.
and so
Okay.
this
I
is.
wanted to show you this too.
Oh
Oh,
yeah. Well, you want to go ahead and talk
yeah.
about that real quick?
Please.
Sure. Um, Gosh, I got given this. I don't know. It's probably 4 or 5 years ago. A lot of folks don't know, but my dad was the one that put Bruiser Brody and Stan Hansen together for the first time and everything. And Brody worked an out of the crowd thing with Uncle Luke Brown in Lafayette, Louisiana. He was a fan and he jumped in the ring, but anyway, he got his career going there. And in Louisiana, he worked for my dad. Then, he became Bruiser Brody and was going all over the world and stuff and did some good things. Well, I've known Brody since I was a little kid, since basically he first started. And a friend of mine had told me one of my offshore buddies was sick and not expected to make it too long. So I made a trip. I just drove by to surprise him because I do stuff like that every once in a while. Mm-hmm. I just went down there to surprise him. Come to find out, no, he was doing good. It was my other buddy was messing with me, messing with my head. Well, I was already down in Florida, and I saw that they were having the Legends Luncheon that day. And as fate would have it, they were doing a thing on Bruiser Brody on his career at the Legends Luncheon in Tampa. And I showed up for that, and I know this is the Double Axe Handle show. So
I love it.
I wanted to show you. I got awarded the Walking Tall Buford Pusser.
Yep.
So I just wanted to let you know I'm prepared for Double Axe.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you. So we're gonna do just answer these as fast as you can. Okay. Just one or two words or a sentence or whatever. Okay. We just don't have a lot of time to go on. So, number one, this is kind of a funny question. Does pineapple belong on a pizza?
Yes.
Okay.
I like pineapples, and if you get all the pepperonis and black olives and pineapples, oh, yes.
All right. Favorite wrestler?
And that's called Hawaiian pizza. That'd be an ethnic.
Yeah, of course. Favorite wrestler
Does
other
corn
than...
belong on pizza?
I'm sorry? Does what?
Does corn belong on pizza?
Mexican pizza.
Yeah, I could see it.
It's in Japan. They put corn on their pizza.
I never heard of that. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
yeah.
Cool. Favorite wrestler other than your dad?
My daughter.
Your daughter. Okay. That's good. That's a good answer.
Good.
Samantha Starr.
That's a good answer. I'll be looking up her. Maybe I can interview her next time.
She stole the show last July up in Red Lake. She did Charlie's memorial show. She stole the show. She just did. I mean, I was so proud of her. I must have been busting out all over. I was just proud dad.
We'll check her out. Best James Bond. If you ever seen any of the James Bond movies, what was the best one, you think? Best actor that played him?
Yeah, okay. I came up during the Roger Moore time, but I really think Sean Connery was a better James Bond.
I think so, too. Josh, you want to ask any of these?
No, go ahead. You've got the list in front of you.
Favorite announced team that announced your matches?
Oh, gosh. I would. Jim Ross, and I'm not sure who he would do it with.
Gordon Solie?
No, well,
Bob
Gordon
Caudle?
Solie was awesome. Gordon Solie was awesome in Atlanta, but Jim Ross was awesome in Oklahoma for Watts.
Worst finisher you ever took? Something that injured you? Something that maybe you just don't like taking?
I tell you what happened on that would be me drop kicking people off the top rope.
Yeah, because you got to land.
Yeah, I come off I used to do the drop kick off the top rope a lot, and one time I drop kicked boss man off the top rope, and when I landed, it was like, why am I doing this? This hurts. So I quit doing that.
And if you were, this is the last question, and then we'll get going. If you were on an island, a deserted island, and you could just pick two other wrestling legends, who would they be to be on the island with you?
Oh,
Who's the
gosh.
best company?
Huh? I mean, do they got to be living or what?
No,
No,
anyone.
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 I was gonna say, I mean, if I'm on an island, is my wife there?
Sure, we can have
Yeah.
your wife. She sounds like a
My
legend.
wife.
Right.
She's a
Okay.
legend too.
Okay, yeah. If she's there, yeah, and if she's there, then I'd have Charlie and Kurt Hennig.
Good.
Nice.
Good.
Things would not get dull.
No, they wouldn't. No. Oh boy. Boy, what would happen if you had Kurt Hennig, Dynamite Kid, and Jacques Rougeau all in the same room, huh?
Somebody ain't gonna live.
No. Well, I really appreciate you coming on, and this has been amazing.
Yeah, it really has. Thank you so much.
Well, thank y'all for having me. I'd like to let your viewers know that you can follow me on Facebook. Please, I want to get people to because I'm getting ready to shut down the Michael Sam Houston Facebook page. I'm not gonna be on there I'm so busy, dude. I really am. I'm sitting on 50 acres here, and there's always something to do. So I don't have a lot of time to mess with computers, and I want to be writing my books and things like that because I'm working on a substance abuse book. I'm working on a book about the Renegades, and I'm working on my life story. I have help, and we hope to be getting these out, as quick as we can. But my help is taking the social media, all the stuff for social media off my plate. They're going to be handling that. So if people can reach me at the Sam Houston
Okay.
Okay.
page.
See, all right.
Okay.
Yep,
All
that
right.
sounds great.
Well, thank you so much, Sam. It's greatly appreciated
All
you
right.
coming on
and
the show
then,
today.
Holler if you need anything. I'll get pictures of it. If you need me to take more pictures of the bell or whatever, I'll do that too.
All right, I
All right,
appreciate
cool.
it. And we'll probably have you on again sometime, okay?
Sure, I'd love to.
All right.
right.
All
Thank
right,
you.
y'all take care.
You too.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you for listening to the show. Join us on our YouTube channel. Double X handle smash, as well as